Hey guys, it's Amber. So today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me with all of my Colourpop products for my project palette. I'm also going to be using products from my project pan. So we'll go ahead and just jump right in. Alrighty, I already have moisturizer on to prime my face. I'm going to use some of my NYX pore filler. Alrighty, so I'm using my NARS Sheer Glow, of course. Just putting it on the back of my hand. I never did buy a pump for this, and now it's kind of like, oh well. My little sponge was dirty, and so I got out of the habit of using it. I was just being lazy and didn't clean it, so I was using brushes. And now that I've got it all nice and clean again, I'm like, oh, yes, I do enjoy using this more than my brush. I just feel like it gives a thinner application so it doesn't look too heavy. I've really been liking that lately. I think for so many years I just wore such thick foundation that I just like having something lighter. So I have no idea what I'm going to do for my eye look today. I haven't planned out anything. So we're just going to kind of go with it and see what happens. So yes, so 2 nights ago we had this horrible windstorm. If you are familiar with Utah or you've lived here, you may have heard about our east winds, which are winds that basically just come from the east, obviously, and they come up over the mountains and they are just horrible. And every few years we get them, and they can get up to 100 miles an hour. It's not like a tornado or anything or hurricane, and I'm sure for those of you who live in those kind of areas, you're like, psh, whatever. But it does do a lot of damage, and in years past, you know, we've had damage, power outages, things like that. The night that the east winds started, we were at Jake's brother's house, who lives about 20 minutes away. So we were driving home, and we kind of have to go through, not like a canyon, but we drive down past an opening of a canyon to get back to our home. And we were just like, oh boy, this is not going to be good, because you can just feel the winds coming and it's just really, really strong. And I'm like, okay, we need to bunker down. So we just made sure, you know, the kids' toys and anything we had outside for the most part was, you know, secured, and tried to hope for the best. I'm kind of a night owl, and so I didn't go to bed until midnight, and by then the winds were pretty crazy, and I could not sleep. Like, I would wake up and I'd just hear it, and then I'd like, you hear things like moving, like branches cracking, and you're like, please do not let a tree fall on my house. Luckily we don't have any giant trees, but our neighbor does have a giant tree, but it thankfully did not fall or anything on us, so that was definitely good. And there was a few times in the middle of the night I woke up and I looked outside, just like, okay, what is going on out here? And it was just insane. So when we woke up the next day, we had no power, and that was the day I was going to upload my video. So my video was a little late because you can't upload if you don't have power and you don't have internet. Yeah, so we were just like, hey, what do we do? Luckily we have a gas stove, and my husband, you know, he's good with a fire starter. So he turned it on, lit it up with a fire starter, and he made us some breakfast, which was awesome. Get some pancakes and stuff for the kids, and just, you know, start cooking something in the morning because we have like the skillet. And then as the day progressed and the power wasn't turning on, it started to get cold, and so we're like, well, maybe we should go to my mom's house. My mom had offered for us to come over. She had power. She had had damage from the winds. The only damage that we had was we had the gutter on the side of our house next to our garage. It had flown off and it hit my husband's truck. It luckily didn't do a lot of damage. It scratched it a little bit, and we don't have our truck in the garage because we have a trailer, like a camping trailer in there. So it's kind of like just out there, and you know, what can you do? But that was minimal damage, but we did lose a tree. So in the very front of our house, we have 2 plum trees. They aren't plums that give fruit. They're like the flowering plums. And we had one of those at our old house too, and in an east wind about 4 years ago, we lost that one as well. I think they're kind of weak trees, and their bark gets soft, and our home is like built in 1950s. It's like a bungalow. So I'm like, okay, this tree has probably been there a really long time. So we did lose one of those trees. It just kind of came right over. But we're like, okay, that's very, very minimal damage. You know, we can definitely deal with that. So we're like, yeah, let's just go ahead and head to my mom's house. So the winds had died down enough that we felt like it was safe to drive. Like we weren't going to drive if it's like dangerous, because there was one point 4 years ago when we had the really bad winds that my husband was trying to drive home from work, and there was like gutters flying and shingles flying, and it's like, when it's like that, you do not get out of your house, you do not get in your car. But the winds had died down enough that it was windy, but it wasn't dangerous. So we drove, and it was so sad driving through the town, just seeing trees uprooted and signs blown out and just the damage that had incurred. And it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, we saw a couple homes that had trees on the roofs, and it was just like, you just feel so bad, because like, it's just Mother Nature. What can you do about it? So we got there, and we brought stuff to make our dinner, and we were going to make like hobo dinners or tinfoil dinners, and so we brought the stuff to make that, and we were thinking we would just cook them on coals because we didn't have power. Our oven wasn't working, even though our stovetop was. But since they offered to have us come over, we just brought our dinner. We just made it over there, and we had fun. The kids had a lot of fun. We brought board games the kids could play, even though they had power. This is Monster. The last one was Wisp. Even though they had power, it was just fun, you know, kind of get the kids off the electronics and playing video games and get them to interact a little more. And I was playing games with my nieces. We were playing like a Disney Spot It game, and there's one called Sneaky Snacky Squirrel where you have these little nuts, and like the kids have to match up their nuts in their little logs, and then they get to steal them sometimes. My 4-year-old struggles in the sharing and stealing department. When he plays that game, he is like, yes, I want to steal. He'll laugh. He loves it. But when it comes to having other people steal from him, he just cries, and he's so upset. And I'm trying to explain to him, buddy, this is the game. So we're still working on that whole thing. I think being a big brother will help him quite a bit, because he'll just have to learn, you know, that's how it goes. It's what's fair. And he's like, it's not fair. I'm like, buddy, this is fair. You know, these are your friends, your cousins, and they are, you know, they're not crying when you steal the nut from them. I mean, it's such a little trivial thing, but it's just one of those hard life lessons when you're little. You know, you're only 4 years old, and you're just like, why are you taking my things? And for him, like, yeah, he's had preschool, and he's had friends and a brother, but, you know, it's still hard to understand when you don't win. You know, for a small child, it's like, that's something that they have to learn, and it's hard, but you know what? Mommy is here to teach you these kind of things. So we'll see how that goes. I ended up putting my bronzer in my crease just to give it a little bit of dimension, because we're doing Colourpop, and these are all super sparkly. So let's just see what I come up with. I know this is kind of wild, but I kind of want to use this color Fantasy. I think I want to do Fantasy and Envy, like a pink smoky eye. You know what? Today is like the chill day of the universe. I am just going to be home, and I am going to be doing laundry. So why not rock a super smoky eye, you know? You know, it's like time to do laundry when you go to take a shower and you're like, oh, we have one clean towel. I hope it's not just me that happens to. So I just like, before I started this video, I hauled a big load of towels down, have those washing now, and I figure, you know what, I might as well get ready. And I thought, oh, I might as well just film a little get ready with me, do my Colourpop look. I have to be a little bit more creative in my filming. I used to film on Tuesdays or Thursdays were my big filming days, because that's when my son goes to preschool. I didn't really realize when I started watching my niece every Tuesday how different it was going to be. I mean, obviously it's going to be different. She's 18 months old and my youngest is 5. But it's different when it's not your child. Like when my kids are here, like when my little boy was 2, I would like sit him on my lap or he'd be here right playing with me. But for some reason when it's someone else's kid, I kind of feel like I don't know if they really want her to be in my videos. You know what I mean? Like I want to be respectful of the parents. And so I haven't put her in my videos or anything. And then when my 5-year-old goes to preschool is her nap time. And I don't have a nursery set up yet. And she won't sleep in a playpen. And so I don't have a crib or anything to put her in. So the only way I can get her to sleep is if I put her in my bed, but I can't leave her in my bed because she's 18 months old. Like, I don't want her to fall out. So I just have to lay there by her. And she will sleep for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And so, I mean, that's the time that I'll like try to edit something or, you know, I'll take a nap because I'm tired or whatever. But, you know, I don't feel comfortable coming down here to film when she's up there sleeping in my bed. I just don't think that's a wise, you know, decision. And I want to treat someone else's children like I treat my own, and I want to make sure they're safe and protected. And so that's what I do. And I put her first, but I didn't realize how much that was eating up into my time. And then on Thursdays, I was filming while I was at school then. But then I kept having clients that are like, oh, can I get in? And I was like, oh, I gotta fit you in, but this is the only time I have. So he goes to school at 12:30, so I'd have them come, and his preschool's really close. I'd say, you know, come at like 12:35, 12:40, and then by the time I was done with their color, it'd be time to pick them up from school. So it worked out really good, but then I just wasn't getting my filming done. And so I have to be a little bit more creative and multitask on cleaning days and be like, yes, I'm going to clean with glam makeup on today. Husband will come home and like, oh look, we cleaned all the house and you look glam. Yay. So with these Colourpop shadows, I really like to just use my finger to apply them. I feel like I get the most vivid color payoff this way. We are just kind of playing with this, seeing what kind of look I'm coming up with. Like I said, no clear plan, just kind of a smoky pink, something bright. And I think I'm gonna, you know, pop a lighter color right in the inner corner. I find as these are drying out that they don't blend quite as well. Like this one is getting dry, and I haven't used this one in Envy very much, so it's a little bit harder to work with. So if you've got Colourpop, I definitely would pull them out. And I also would say, like, order a few, but don't order like 50 colors, because you're not gonna be able to use them up. It'd be better to get like, you know, 10, 15 colors, something you can mix and match with, and then use those for a couple years. And then when they're dried up, then you're not like, oh wow, I wasted, you know, $500, and then pick new colors. That's what I would do personally, because I just feel like there's only so long you can use them. All right, I'm going to use this eye candy color, the one I thought that I didn't like, but apparently hit pan on. But then I used the other day, and I'm like, no, I guess I do like it. This one has still stayed really creamy, but it's good for when you want an inner corner color with the pinks and purples. And so even though on its own, it's kind of like a good complementary color. Like, it's not something that's like a standalone shade that you're like, oh yes, like this is a great lid color, or this is a great that color. But when you pair it with other things, I think it works nicely. We're just kind of having a glitter bomb today. Whatever. You know, I'm just going with it. But I'm going to try to blend this a little more with the brush, because I just feel like I just need something else. Highlight here and clean up this edge a little bit. Whenever I'm doing those dark colors, it's like you kind of start to lose that definition there by your brow, and it's like, yes, I need that. So Sometimes I think my camera must be possessed because it just shut off randomly. And I'm like, what's your deal? Are you overheating? Is your memory card full? Tell me what your problem is. I don't know. So I turned it back on expecting it to be like blinking something, like telling me what's the issue. No, it's fine. I don't know, maybe I have a ghost in my house that turns off my camera. No, I don't really think so, but. All right, let's put some of this fantasy under my eyes. Totally just matches my shirt today, like pink. Should I do Trap from Colourpop and make it kind of like a hot pink and grunge look? That'd be exciting for my laundry. Because you know these YouTubers are doing these dramatic tutorials and then they're like going home and doing normal stuff. It's just what real life is. I mean, they're not like, I mean, I guess that they're doing like get ready with me for the club and then they're like going to the club right after. But like, let's be real, you know. We be in our yoga pants and chilling in our houses, Netflixing. Alrighty, so I got that mascara all on, and let's see, what lip color? Oh yeah, I was talking about doing Trap. Let's just go for it, you know? Like I said, my laundry doesn't care. So glad I put chapstick on first so it's not like caked. I think it makes it like very mysterious look, like kind of dark, and be a great like going out look. Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. You can see as my hair dries, it just pretty much dries straight. So I will go finish doing my hair now, and I will see you guys later. Bye! Do you like Mommy's new filming area? The next thing I got was another favorite. I featured this in my April favorites, which is the Tartlet Teas. And so I got one for you guys because I have just enjoyed this so much. So I'll just go ahead and show you mine.